Let Garmin show you how to pair and configure your gesture remote and wireless foot control switch with the Garmin Spy Pole. For this process, you will need the Spy Pole installed on the gunnel of the boat or your Garmin Force Pro or Force Trolling motor, Spy Pole heading sensor, gesture remote, the Spy Pole foot control switch, 2 AA batteries, and a Chartplotter compatible with the Spy Pole. You will need to be on the water to run the Spy Pole wizard to complete the calibration procedure properly. First, press the power button 3 times rapidly to enter pairing mode. The LED light will turn blue. Next, press the left and right buttons on the gesture remote 3 times simultaneously. The LED on the gesture remote will flash blue, indicating the device is in pairing mode. The gesture remote will now pair with the Garmin Spy Pole. The LED on the Spy Pole will turn green, and the LED on the gesture control remote will flash green once the pairing process is complete. Next, we will pair the foot control switch. The foot control switch is powered by 2 AA batteries. Turn the D-ring on the back of the foot control switch counterclockwise to remove the battery cover. Insert 2 AA batteries, observing polarity. Place the battery cover back over the battery slot and turn the D-ring clockwise to lock the cover into place. Now we will place the foot control switch into pairing mode. Press the top 2 buttons 3 times simultaneously. The LED on the foot control will flash blue, indicating the foot control is in pairing mode. Then, place the Garmin Spy Pole into pairing mode. The foot control switch will now pair to the Garmin Spy Pole. The status LED on the Spy Pole will turn green, and the LED on the foot control switch will flash green once the pairing process is complete. Now, we will configure the controls of the gesture remote and foot pedal on a compatible chart plotter. We will be using the GPSMAP 9213 XSV for this process, but the process is similar on other compatible GPSMAP and Echomap devices. First, make sure the chart plotter is powered on. Then, pair the Spy Pole to the Garmin Chartplotter. Place the Garmin Spy Pole into pairing mode. Select Settings from the Chartplotter home screen. Then, select Communications, Wireless Devices, and then Spy Pole Mount. Select Start to put the Chartplotter in pairing mode. The status light on the Spy Pole will turn green, and the Chartplotter will display the name of the Spy Pole once the pairing process is complete. You must place the Spy Pole toolbar on one of the Chartplotter screens to configure the gesture remote and foot control. For this video, we will use the fishing chart. Select Toolbars in the bottom right. Then, select Spy Pole. Place the Spy Pole toolbar on the top, bottom, or side of the Chartplotter screen. Next, press the menu button on the Spy Pole toolbar. We will configure the gesture remote first. You can program the left and right buttons to perform several features. Select Gesture Remote. Buttons 1 and 2 are assigned to your left and right movements by default at the factory. We will adjust button 1, but the process is similar for button 2. Select one of the features for button 1. Repeat this step for button 2 if needed. Button 3 is your gesture control. You can change the gesture control from a swing to steer or from a twist to steer. Select Back when complete. Now we will configure the foot control switch. The foot control switch has 2 buttons at the top that can be changed. Select button 1 to change the feature and choose one of the movements of the Spy Pole on the right. Repeat this process for button 2 if needed. Select Back when finished adjusting the foot control switches. Now we will show you how to adjust the settings in the Spy Pole toolbar menu. You can adjust the settings of your Spy Pole's Auto Spy Lock and Spy Scans. Follow the link below to learn more about the operation and movement of the spy pole. Select Set Pole Name to change the name of your spy pole. Now we will look into the installation settings and go through the setup wizard of your Garmin Spy Pole. The installation settings will allow you to run the Spy Pole wizard, conduct calibrations, and restore the defaults of the spy pole. Select Setup Wizard. Follow the on-screen instructions. Set a name for the spy pole if you haven't already. Then select Begin. You will need to make sure that all components of the spy pole, spy heading sensor, and transducers are all connected. The spy heading sensor will be connected at the factory. Follow the link below for more help with spy pole and spy pole accessory connectivity. Select Next once all components are connected. Now, select the side to park the transducer on when the spy pole mount is stowed. You can choose from up, right, left, and down. Choose one and select Done. Next, we will perform the bow offset. Align the spy pole mount with the bow of the vessel. Then, select Set Bow Offset. Now, select the transducers connected to the spy pole. We have both the GT360 UHD and the LVS34 transducers for this video, but the process is similar for other LiveScope transducers. Select Next. Next, we will set the offset values for the spy pole. This means we will need to set the position of the spy pole and the devices connected to the spy pole. This must be done for use of the spy pole on the water. Failure to do so will disable spy pole features. Select Starboard Port Offset. Select Starboard Port Offset again. Enter the distance from the boat center line to the spy pole using positive numbers for the starboard direction. Select Done. Next, select Stern Offset. Select Stern Offset again. Enter the distance from the stern to the spy pole. Use positive values in direction to the bow. Select Done. Now we will set the position for our other Garmin devices. Select Device Position. All devices connected and communicating with the spy pole will show here. You will need to set the device position on each display for displays with built-in GPS. Built-in GPS on other displays may not be visible on the one you are working on. The spy pole toolbar and spy pole installation settings will need to be placed on the other displays to set up the position. Highlight the device you want to set the position for, then press Select on the screen. Select Starboard Port Offset. Select Starboard Port Offset again. Enter the distance from the boat center line to the selected device. Use positive values in the starboard direction. Select Done. Select Stern Offset. Select Stern Offset again. Enter the distance from the stern to the selected device. Use positive values in direction to the bow. Select Done. Next, you will need to set the waterline offset. Select Waterline Offset. Select Waterline Offset again. Enter the distance from the waterline to the device. Use positive values for above the waterline and negative values for below the waterline. Select Done. Continue to do this for all devices on each individual chart plotter. Now, select Back to return to the Spy Pole Offset page. Select Next. The spy pole heading sensor will need to be calibrated. You must have calm and open water to run the spy pole calibrations. Select Begin when you are ready to start the calibration. Follow the on-screen instructions. Turn the boat 1.5 times in either direction to calibrate the compass. Keep the boat level and steady while turning. Now, conduct the auto heading alignment. You must have 45 seconds of uninterrupted water to run the auto heading alignment. Make sure you have open, calm water before you begin. Select Begin. Select Done once the calibration is successful. You will be given the option to configure the gesture remote and foot switch control again if needed. Select Exit in the bottom right once the setup wizard has been completed. The Spy Pole is now ready for operation. You can redo individual calibrations for your bow offset, spy heading sensor, and steering alignment under Calibrations in the installation page. There are also options for restoring defaults. Restoring defaults will not forget your connections to the Spy Pole. You will need to select your connected transducers again in the Spy Pole wizard if you restore default settings. Factory default settings will wipe the connections from the Spy Pole. You will need to reconnect to the Spy Pole and run the Spy Pole wizard again. And that's it. Thanks for watching. For more help, please subscribe to the Garmin Support YouTube channel or visit marinesupport.garmin.com.